What a wild weekend in sports, and we are going to cover it all right here, from Badgers to boxing to baseball, that and a lot more. The headlines are coming up, and they are powered by the Red Zone on Regent Street and Conant Automotive in Stoughton. Yes, the headline straight ahead on the Sports News. Welcome on into the Sports News, your 30-minute look into the tackles, hits, checks, and dunks that make up the local sports scene. I'm your host, Rich Reynolds, and let's hit the headlines and the ground running. And, well, let's just say that the past weekend in sports was full of surprises. Now, the longtime lovable losers, the Chicago Cubs, locked down the best record in the National League. That's a surprise. Duke beat Notre Dame in football, and the Wisconsin Badgers started their Big Ten football season winning at Michigan State. Now, granted, I don't think the shock is that the Badgers won. It's that they won 30-6 in East Lansing, with Alex Hornibrook, a redshirt freshman, making his first ever collegiate start. Now, that surprised many. Bucky dominated in time of possession, rushing yards, and in the turnover battle to improve to 4-0 and once again crack the top 10 in the polls. Next up, a date in the Big House against Jim Harbaugh and his fourth-ranked Michigan Wolverines. In other Badger news, the ladies enjoyed a clean sweep of a weekend as the top-ranked women's hockey team handled St. Cloud State. The volleyball team swept Maryland out of the Fieldhouse, and the softball team took both games of a double dip versus Illinois State at Goodman Diamond. Now, one of the great things about living in South Central Wisconsin is the variety of options that we have when it comes to attending sporting events. That list includes junior hockey, summertime collegiate baseball, and ringed sports like boxing, which was in full effect on Saturday night at the Alliant Expo Center. Supreme Hits Boxing presented the coming of the storm, and the card did not disappoint. The first four bouts all featured action-packed knockouts, while the co-main events saw unanimous decisions go the way of two Madison fighters. Deontay Boumaye Wilson beat Isaac Johnson in a junior welterweight bout, while the main event saw WBF super featherweight champion of the world Dorn the Storm Vu cruise past Roberto Rodriguez Correa of Nicaragua. From the ring to the octagon, we will go on Saturday night as Chosen Few MMA comes to the Monona Terrace Convention Center. You can see the event in person and then watch the replay, as we will have it right here on Wisconsin's 57 Sports. The Friday night lights were shining brightly on Breese Stevens Field Friday night, as a game you saw here had Madison West routing Madison East 60-27. And what a night for three-star recruit Terrell Carey of the Regents, who caught a 12-yard pass for a touchdown, returned a punt 75 yards for a score, and then found pay dirt with a 109-yard pick six. Other Big 8 winners on Friday night included Sun Prairie, Janesville Craig, Middleton, and Verona. In the Badger, it was Monroe, Mount Horeb Barneveld, Milton, Waunakee, Reedsburg, and Monona Grove as the victors. Other local winners included Evansville, Albany, Lodi, and Columbus. And sad news to report from the world of baseball as young phenom Jose Fernandez, a pitcher for the Miami Marlins, was killed in a boating accident early Sunday morning. The Sunday game between the Marlins and Braves was canceled. Fernandez was just 24 years old. For more information and all the 411 on our headlines, check out these fine websites. Stick around. We have more local interviews than anyone else. And coming up, we're also going to check in on an outdoor show. That, a lot more, right here on the Sports News on Wisconsin's 57 Sports. I think one of the really cool things about our station is that we can provide so much, like different kinds of options and programming here, including a lot of different local shows. And one of those really cool local shows is called Outdoor Junkies TV that you can see right here on Saturdays and Sundays on Channel 57. To that end, we bring in the executive producer of the program, Brian Wickersham. And Brian, thanks for being here. And if you could talk a little bit for people that haven't seen the show, what is Outdoor Junkies TV about?
Hi, thanks for having me. Outdoor Junkies is about guys from the Midwest and Wisconsin who are basically addicted to the outdoors, from everything from hunting to fishing throughout all the seasons. We try and go after it, whatever we can get our hands on.
And Wisconsin's such a great state for being addicted to the outdoors. So much to do, a beautiful place to be. And how long have you been doing the show then?
We've been doing it for 8 seasons, and right now we are currently airing on the CW as well as nationally on the Hunt Channel.
Excellent. And so as far as this season goes, what can we expect to see for the rest of this season?
Well, recently we just filmed a group of wounded veterans on a bow hunt in northern Shawano County and had a great hunt with that. And we also have charter fishing on the Great Lakes with Wolfpack Adventures, the youth hunts that are coming up soon. So we have really great episodes coming up.
Yeah, you talk about some of those hunts, and you recently filmed those. What are some other hunts that you might have planned?
Well, we've, like I was mentioning, the youth hunt that's coming up in the next couple weeks in Wisconsin. That'll be the second weekend of October. And we will also be kicking into archery season. And then the whitetail gun season for Wisconsin.
Always big, yeah. And now, how about fishing too? Because you guys cover that. How about some fishing trips that you got planned out?
Yeah, we'll be hunting we'll be fishing the Wisconsin and also the Milwaukee River for salmon. The salmon run comes in out of the Great Lakes, and we'll probably go up to Sheboygan as well and fish out of that area.
Excellent, yeah, and always a beautiful place to go fishing, and whatever in the Sheboygan area, and right on Lake Michigan there as well. So also very cool. So if you could tell us a little bit too, what is Weekends in the Wild?
Weekends in the Wild is a new program that we developed to bring to the Channel 57 that is basically outdoor programming that's geared around the Wisconsin area from local producers, and we're just hoping to build that block of programming and let it grow into possibly a 2-hour-long block.
We'll look forward to it. It's always very cool to kind of see that in the morning on a Saturday and Sunday when you're just kind of easing into your weekend and watching that stuff. It's always beautiful stuff. Brian, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Brought to you by Conan Automotive, taking care of you by taking care of your family's car.
Welcome back to the sports news. We're very excited to talk about MMA at its finest right here in Madison. And joining us now, we've got Josh Sterry, who is president and matchmaker for the Chosen Few Fighting Championships. And boy, we're so excited for this event. 9th event here in Madison. How are you today, Josh?
Good, Jessa. Thank you for having me.
So, such exciting times. Let's recap for viewers at home who may not be familiar with the event yet. Some big fights we're excited about. Let's talk about some of the best matchups that we're looking forward to.
Yeah, October 1st we have 3 amateur title fights. Local favorite Alton Cunningham is fighting for the 185-pound title. We also have the 170-pound title. Lee Parrish fighting Ben Ross from La Crosse. And we also have the 145-pound title with Zach Nash versus James Clark from Milwaukee, so that's also a great fight. Leading up to that then, at the end of the night in the main card, we have 3 professional bouts. Main event is going to be Mark Lemminger versus Rex Griepentrog, and that is going to be a phenomenal fight. So hold on to your seats and get ready for a good show. The Kona main event will be Tony Rook versus Jeremiah Denson, another great bout. Tony's been off for a few years and he's making his comeback, so we're excited to see that. And we also have the 145-pound, #1 ranked in Wisconsin, Alex Gilpin takes on veteran Morgan Sickinger, so another great bout for the night.
Wow, some great bouts to look forward to, and that's not it, there's more, so there's lots and lots to look forward to. It's going to be a fantastic event. What I want to also touch on, Josh, we were chatting just a little bit before the segment, but what an incredible amount of athleticism it takes to be a fighter in an event like this. So give us some insight on what the training process looks like for these athletes.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you had mentioned that actually. Athleticism is one thing, but the dedication and commitment that it takes and discipline that it takes to be an MMA fighter is just unreal. These guys put their heart and soul into this. Their typical fight camps are about 8 to 10 weeks. Some go up to 12 weeks depending on how much weight they need to cut. But the dedication, the discipline, the sacrifice that it takes for these guys, especially as professionals, it is just amazing. And it's not just them, it's their teammates, it's their coaches, it's their family. Everybody sacrifices for these guys and to get into that cage and do what they truly love to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chosen Few Gym has had a big role in that. We've got just a few seconds left, but let us know how you've been involved.
Yeah, so Chosen Few Gym is my gym. We actually have 5 fighters on this card. The 3 pro fights are all headlined by our guys, and then we have 2 amateurs as well that we're very excited, Marco and Alex Polizzi, that are going to come and represent the gym very well as well.
Well, congrats to those folks and you guys for putting together a fantastic event. We look forward to it on October 1st. There's just a few tickets left for viewers at home. If you're interested, chosenfewfc.com is where you can purchase tickets. Don't wait till the door because they might be all gone. Josh Sterry, president and matchmaker, we look forward to the Chosen Few Fighting Championships. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
A special thank you to Conan Automotive in Stoughton for supporting local athletics. I always get a kick out of it when we get to talk to some soccer players. Yeah, I know, it's a terrible pun. We bring in Nick, Brian, and Zach. They're from Waunakee and from the soccer team. And fellas, first of all, thanks for being here. And second, let's talk about what you guys need to do. What do you think you all need to do as far as improvement to keep the winning thing going?
I got this. I think we probably should just work on marking. We tend to get like really into the game, and then when we get into the game, we just look at the ball. So if we just worry on our man, everything will be just fine.
So that takes a little bit of discipline, and so yeah, definitely some practice. So, and maybe some confidence too. And so do you all feel confident in the depth on your team?
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of experience on this team. We have a lot of people who's been through this before. And I think with that comes the knowledge of how you need to play in games. And we can take that and teach the younger people the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking forward now, what are your goals for the rest of the season and getting to the end of the season?
I think our goals heading into the postseason is kind of to make a really deep run to the playoffs. We've had a really tough schedule so far this season, and I think that's prepared us for the Badger North competition. So I think we're in good shape heading into the postseason.
Yeah, that definitely helps. And so what have you guys done basically, I mean, besides having such a tough schedule, in preparation, you know, and working hard behind the scenes to get to where you are?
Well, in practice, we work a lot on like opening up, passing. It's more of like just the basics. We have the skill to play with up to like the level that we want to play. It's just the normal stuff. Sometimes we get a little iffy, but once we get it, we'll be there.
You're definitely an experienced bunch, lots of seniors on the team. So how do you think that helps you as a team?
Yeah, so like I was saying before, we've been through this before, and for that, we kind of know how that we just need to calm down and play our game, and we don't let ourselves get too big into trying to do too much. We kind of pass the ball around and share that.
Self-scouting time right now for you guys, and maybe you can each give an answer. What do you think your biggest strength is of your soccer team?
I think the biggest strength is kind of moving the ball, kind of possession. I think we do a good job of knowing where to go with the ball and finding our man. I think it comes a lot from talking and being where you are on the field.
I think it's our team chemistry. It's just, we like each other on and off the field. It's not like off the field we're not friends, we're friends off the field. So we just get to know each other. We know what to do. We know what each person's going to do.
And from the captain, Dink, what do you think?
It's kind of bittersweet knowing that this is our last year, but also we're going to give it our all and try to get that state championship.
Hey, fellas, thank you for being on. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brought to you by Conan Automotive, taking care of you by taking care of your family's car. All right, let's talk about something near and dear to my heart, and that's radio, and of course, The Zone in Madison, 106.7 FM, 1670 AM, and they got what I think is probably the best local show going right now, and that's the Joe and Ebo Show. Let's bring in Joe Miller, and I'm only saying that, Joe, that I think it's the best because, you know, I'm doing a fluff piece here. And
okay.
So, you know, I want to be able to build.
I'll take all the compliments I can get. Keep them coming.
So let's talk about the Joe and Ebo Show. What is the Joe and Ebo Show? If you had to sum it up a little bit, what do you tell people it is?
Yeah, it's just, you know, it's not your father's radio, I guess is what you'd say. I mean, we certainly have our pillars, right? Packers, Badgers, Brewers, Bucks, and we certainly, you know, football season's here. We spend a great deal of time on Packers, Badgers, but you know, we try and do a little bit, you know, outside the box, think and kind of push the envelope a little, you know, put a little different spin, maybe a little bit of a sarcastic, slapstick. You know, look at the day in sports. And it's not just sports, you know, we do a lot of pop culture and, you know, movies and rock and roll and just kind of not taking ourselves and, you know, the sports talk game so seriously, I think.
Yeah, and it's kind of up to as kind of being a wise guy and a wise, you know.
Well, I didn't know. I was going to say that, Rich. I don't know what the rules are.
Well,
here
yeah,
at
I'm not
CW,
going to use
so-
the word. I'm not going to actually use it.
Yeah, I don't want to get you in trouble.
But
yes.
I think everybody gets it. You're the wise guy, and I think you're the wise guy of it because the whole betting aspect
Yeah.
of it too. You guys talk a lot about that. So talk about it. Your parlay card and all that kind of stuff you got going.
Yeah, I mean, it's out there, right? And, you know, good or bad, sports gambling, and, you know, whether, you know, people you're watching home, you don't realize this. Yes, fantasy football is technically gambling, and if you fill out a square on a Sunday night Packer game. So we just, you know, we kind of have made it our shtick. And, you know, actually the Joe Nebo show was born from something called The Action Zone. It was a show I hosted a couple of years ago, just a one day of the week, just basically talking sports gambling. And it kind of got a cult following, and then it grew into, you know, that what we're doing now on the Joe Nebo show. You know, we do the daily Action Zone every day at 8:50, so we always give you a free pick. You mentioned Joe's parlay card. We've got some great sponsors for that. You know, you go to our website, madcitysportszone.com, you fill that out every week. Runs through football, through, you know, college basketball and NBA season. Pick the top games, you can win some great prizes. We got a fantasy football league this year that's been insanely popular. So we're having a lot of fun with weekly, and then we have a season, you know, contest as well. So yeah, just, you know, if you put it this way, Rich, if you want to gamble on it, listen to the show. I will find a way to make a bet on it.
Sounds like a good bet, and we got about 20 seconds. Quickly, you guys also talk a lot of Packers. Who's the Packer you have on this year that you talked to?
Yeah, so it's Tundra Talk. It's a Packers inside linebacker, Blake Martinez. It's every Tuesday through Friday. During the show, we run it right at 10 o'clock, and he is, I'll tell you what, Stanford educated. He's so down to earth, such a cool dude. And we've been having a lot of fun with Blake, and gives us real behind-the-scenes access, kind of pull the curtain back on the Packers. So yeah, Tuesday, Friday at 10 during our show.
It's good stuff. Joe Nebo, check him out on The Zone. And Joe, thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Hey, we're finally getting out of the hot summer months. It's going to feel like more ice arena time. If you could tell us a little bit about what's going on over there for the fall and winter season.
Well, thanks for having me back. I feel like it's been like a year since I've been on camera again. Let's see. So at the arena, we've made a ton of changes this summer. We worked really hard to make the place, you know, clean. I mean, it's pretty. We repainted everything. A lot of exciting stuff going on there. So, you know, coming this fall, we have a lot of programs starting. Like our Learn to Skate's a really big program for us. Happens every Wednesday night at 5:30. So if you want to learn to skate, that's a great place to do it. More fall stuff. We kicked off the Whalers season this last Friday night. They lost to La Crosse, unfortunately, 7-5, but still an exciting game. I think we hit about 275 people. So that's, you know, the kind of the buzz is starting to build a little bit. They have another game, I believe, on November 4th, somewhere in there. So as far as like winter programming, we're pretty much sold out. Like we added, what do we have this year? Like 6 or 7 tournaments that people are starting to sign up for, and you know, we're looking forward to a really busy year.
Always a fight for ice time, which is always good stuff. And so, you know, when you got changes going on at the arena too, you got some of those, including a new setup for the grill, right?
Yeah, so I've been working hard on this one. So, you know, you go to pretty much every ice arena, and what can you buy? You can buy popcorn and hot dogs, which is fine, but we wanted to add a little element. So we put in a full-on grill. So we have a hood system, grill, fryers, hired a food manager, you'll say, kind of a chef. So we're gonna start doing catering for all of our own birthday parties and corporate events. You know, we can do all of our own food, and I'm not just talking hamburgers and hot dogs, like chicken Caesar salads, and you know, definitely the cheese curds, because that's what everybody likes. But I think it's a cool addition, and you know, besides Sun Prairie that has their, you know, Sun Prairie has Willie Ties, which is a really good restaurant out there. Other than that, we're the only ones. So now when people come to Oregon, they're, you know, going to know that they can get good food.
Absolutely, and always good for people to know that. And it's going to bring people in. It's bringing people in. You got a new person on promotions, don't you?
Yeah, so On Ice Promotions is, I mean, we're a pretty wide range company, but like our primary focus is skill development at this point. We just brought a guy on, his name is Dane Litke. He played for North Dakota, and sorry Badger fans, but you know, he played for North Dakota in '97, won the national championship there, has coached USHL, college hockey, you know, all the junior hockey, promoted a ton of kids to, you know, from junior hockey into college, D1, and he's coming on as our new skill development director. and we're starting to figure out programming and whatnot for him this fall and winter. Starting a breakfast club so kids can come in, skate before school, get their training in, have something to eat, then and go to school. I think just the addition of having him, Larry's my partner on ice, and goalie-wise, he's the best in the Midwest. There's hands down. Myself, I'm marketing, and that's why I'm on TV right now. But bringing him on, he's a total professional. His drills are better than anything I've ever seen before, and the kids that have skated with him so far, the parents just rave about what their kids are. They come home, they talk about it, and everybody's pretty excited to have him on board.
All good stuff, Ben. Thanks for joining us.
Yep, appreciate it.
Brought to you by Conan Automotive, taking care of you by taking care of your family's car.
They control the outside midfield, and they control the tempo of the game for our team. And we have Adam Lalazerne in the back, who is a senior, and he takes care of everything in the back. And we have one sophomore, Caleb Blair, who controls our midfield in the central position, who can attack or defend anybody that we've ever come across.
You mentioned the upcoming game against Bigfoot. What are some other upcoming matches that are going to be key for your conference
season?
Well,
for our conference game, that'd be Bigfoot's big, and we also have Evansville we beat, but we have a new system where we're going to have a playoff that we're looking forward to at the end of our conference instead of playing each team twice. So we'll get to see those guys again that we're looking forward to playing at the end of the season right before playoff time.
Speaking of playoffs, always good to look ahead as well to the postseason and what's coming up. Where do you think you all are going to fit in there, and what's your outlook for the upcoming postseason?
We look to make another deep run. Last year we made it to the sectional final game, one game away from state, and had an unfortunate loss to Mount Horeb. We love to see Mount Horeb again and play them again, or anyone else. That's why we're playing big teams like Sun Prairie and DeForest, bigger schools like that, to get prepared for that.
Now the program as a whole and kids that wanted to play soccer, how is that looking? How's the pipeline coming in, and what kind of excitement do you have for soccer in McFarland?
Pipeline is looking great. This year we had half our program is almost freshmen. Wow. And we have about 3 freshmen who start now in varsity, so the pipeline's looking great. Our JV team is full of great talent too that's coming down the pipe. They're all freshmen and sophomores.
Good stuff, Coach. Yeah, we appreciate you being here. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Big thank you to all of our guests that made the show possible today, and of course all of our sponsors, and especially you for tuning in. A special thank you as well goes out to Rick and the boys over at the Red Zone on Regent Street and Conan Automotive in Stoughton for keeping us on the air as always. I'm Rich Reynolds. We'll see you next time on the Sports News here on Wisconsin's 57 Sports.